Right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the channel. This is Put It On The Table podcast. To my left, I got T. Jones. To my right, I got Doc Rich and D holding it down on the end. Today, we just came together to talk about, situations where women live in the house with it. We get up in the morning and, sometimes it ain't the rollers and the bonnet thing ain't the best thing to see early in the morning or even at night. Sometimes we want to see that beauty all day when we come home. There was something to be said, years ago for, woman getting up, she getting herself together before, the man even rolled out of bed. So, should we go back to that? Would that cut down some of this divorce rates? Because we be out here looking for stuff that we can't see at home. What you think, D?
Whoa, that's a mouthful. I have the pleasure of waking up and going to sleep with a very beautiful woman. But in my past,
ooh, that's brownie points.
I definitely have had. You know what? I think all the women I dated were very conscientious of their appearance at night. Maybe because of what my expectations might have been. I don't think it's realistic that your woman can't have her hair wrapped or curlers in her hair. And she can be beautiful when she's on her way out the door, back to the point. But someone else is going to have to probably elaborate on this. I've been very fortunate.
So you ain't, so that's never been an issue for you.
Like I said, I think they had expectations. I think they knew that I wanted to see them beautiful at all times.
So you never had no issue. I would say that's kind of.
He set the bar high.
Yeah.
From off the rip.
I'm just telling you, that has not been my experience. Not at all. But, Doc, what's up with you? What's been your experience?
Well, I think Colin just said something that summarizes my point of view. If I like you, you got to be beautiful to me all the time. And for me, I'm not really attracted to makeup girls.
I mean,
there are some girls who are absolutely fucking stunning with makeup on.
Absolutely.
And then when they take it off, you wouldn't know it's the same girl.
Absolutely.
I want to roll over at 3 a.m. and see the chick that I actually like and not a representative that she put on in the morning.
Okay.
So I know those particularly in my grandmother's generation, they had a wig already styled to wake up before he did. They would get up, have some makeup and lipstick on, and I recognize it was for me. It wasn't really them trying to present themselves as feeling like they're beautiful. I think there used to be this sort of submissive Christian wife idea that I want him to have the best from the time he opened up his eyes till the time he go to sleep.
So have we lost that? That's my whole point.
Well,
is that no longer a thing? Is that no longer a mentality?
Well, ask yourself, how many of these young girls got Grandma's Greens recipe?
Yeah, true that.
I think we have in ours, and the subsequent generation have fewer black girls who grew up with their grandma. Grandma had to work by the time the 1990s came. So you didn't have grandma sitting at home teaching you how to make pound cake all the time and how she make her special dressing. So I think that we have socialized ourselves away from that as a tradition. But I also don't want to put the pressure on a girl that I'm dating to feel like she has to look a certain way for me to feel like she's valid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a situation of you trying to make her think that she got to look a certain way, but also at the same time being realistic.
Tell us your experience.
Yeah, putting it on the table. I'll put it on the table.
Put it on the table.
I've said this, and anybody I'm with, I tell them the same thing. If you're giving me steak and lobster every day, if that's what I got to look at, that's what I got to eat every day. If I see steak and lobster while I'm out, it ain't no big thing. But if you feed me Fruit Loops in the morning, when I go out here and I'm seeing steak and lobster and I'm seeing, scampies and everything else that's walking around the street, my eye gonna kind of curl up a little bit like, damn, that look real good. That look good. So I mean, it's something to be said about leaving lasting impressions, and that's just from day to day. It don't have to be like the first chance encounter. But if I'm living with you every day, I think that I shouldn't come home every day, and every day I come home, you got your bonnet on. And I'm not saying that it's just expectations of you got to be have your Barbie thing going on, pun, shameless pun.
So in other words, their upkeep is important to you
24/7.
24/7.
24/7, maybe not 24/7, maybe 23/6. So 23/6. I mean, it has to be some level of importance played off to that, because it's the same thing. I mean, at certain times, if guys start to let themselves go, that's why Doc's in the gym getting himself together. He done, did his thing. It's a certain level to say that. When they look at us, it's like, okay, this guy's slipping, and then they go out here and they see, Mr. Adonis, Mr. Dexter St. Jock on the beach, and then, their eye can start to turn a little bit. So it's something to be said about leaving images with people, even with the ones you love, so that it's not a big thing, in my opinion. Now, does relationships and love and bonding in regards to other things play a part in keeping each other from the wandering eye? Absolutely. But imagery is the first thing that most of us, in my opinion, the attraction is how you look.
The first attraction is physical, and when you speak of bonnets and we had this conversation the other day at the spot, and when I say the spot, the bar, they were talking about bonnets and the upkeep of their hair and the wrapping of their hair and how hard it is and how important it is, and they were talking about these things, and they were talking about these eyelashes and this and the other. And my thing is this: I don't want to see it in the airport. I don't want to see it at the grocery store. I'm okay with it at home, but sometimes at bedtime I don't want to see it. Like anyone else.
That's all I'm saying.
But then again, I have to revert to this. There's some things about myself that they don't want to see during those times
and
either.
I'm cool with that.
And exactly
know what those things are.
Exactly.
And I can make that effort.
And when it comes to makeup, I am not a makeup guy. I think that's war paint. I ain't trying to go to war, baby. I'm trying to make love. I'm trying to love on you. I'm trying to spend some time. I don't need you messing up my clothes.
Right, exactly.
Even though you probably the one washing them, but hey, it is what it is. It's a trade-off. So if that's what you need, I can wash my own clothes, ladies. Though, hold on, my mama taught me well. But the thing is, where's the trade-off? What's the happy medium? If that's what you need to make yourself happy, then fine.
But isn't I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
But isn't the beef probably among both genders? Because while we're talking about women wearing bonnets and not having makeup or just not simply presenting their best selves when they're in public, there was a time where we wore button-down shirts and trousers as part of our regular attire and wasn't half of our ass out. So I think that
I got a problem with that. Anyway.
I got a problem with that too.
But I think the argument here is that I think the standards have changed for both men and women.
Not so well.
It depends. Standard, or is it just a lack of caring in the first place? I mean, because standard says that when we move from this to this, we have now set a standard that this is now the new norm. So is it just that new norm shifting because of a lack of effort?
Well, so the argument I make for these young men who walk around with their butts out and their pants down to their knees is that we have not given them a reason to pull them up. So when you think about the young ladies and their response to not having a reason to present their best selves, we're talking about economic groups of people. Like, my dad taught me to be eventually a middle class dude. So I couldn't get Nike cut in my head. I had to dress a certain way. I couldn't roll out the house a certain way because he had expectations for me. And my friends had family members who had similar expectations for their kids. But when you think about how the economy has taken parents out of the home because it costs more to survive, what you lose is that continuation of expectations. And then I remember when I was 18 and lived in California, we literally would have on some briefs under a pair of boxers and a slingshot t-shirt, and that was what we went to class in. Now, our parents would have whooped our behinds had they been anywhere within proximity, but it's what teenagers or young people or immature people do, and as a result, it becomes part of a cultural artifact of our young people because we have not socialized them to think different.
That's not a cultural. That's just called self-respect, man. Come on.
Well, so self-respect comes with the ability to take care of yourself. Would you agree?
Exactly, but hold on. Some of this dressing, man. This pants sagging, that's some of the most disgusting shit I've ever seen in my life, and I'm putting it on the table right now, Doc.
Okay.
Come on, we grew up in a generation where, I mean, we was Chap G when we went out the door. Mm-hmm. My mother was a lady, man. She was a stone cold lady. She didn't get out the bed unless she was dressed up. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't talking about no makeup. Her hair was done. She would be cooking breakfast, man. My mother was from head to toe done. Mm-hmm. And when I went to school, mugs thought my parents had money. We were poor. Mm-hmm. But they thought we had money, man. My parents was creased and this, that, and the other. I was a representation of the home. Right. And I understand what you're saying. We don't have that because both parents have to work now. But dang it, there's a such thing called self-respect.
Well, let me interject. When you, Doc, say there's some type of financial or social injustice or lack of money. Mm-hmm. The only reason I beg to differ with that, and I'm not knocking anybody, I don't care where you live at, but I know you in the projects with a 64, 80-inch screen. I know your kids all got J's on. Mm-hmm. So we spend our money where we want to spend our money, and we choose to dress. Now, we choose to dress sometimes based off of our economical landscape.
Let me just jump in right here to clarify. So, when you see these people on TV, First 48, you see all these black people involved in these murders.
First 48.
You turn on Channel 19 News and you see this corner store got robbed and they got this black dude's face all plastered up there. Those are not black people. See, people associate this kind of dysfunction with black people, and because there's so many poor black people, it becomes an assumption that that's what black is. And in the same way, we've come to understand that our behavior is symbolic of black culture. No, a lot of what we're seeing with this pants sag and these bonnet stuff, that's low income behavior. Because the kids in the middle class, they might try to emulate it, but they're sneaking to do it.
So you think the women, back to
women, yeah.
Back to the subject, you think the women are, for whatever reason, lack of education, lack of relationship building, they accept these guys? Because it's obvious these guys that got their pants hanging, they are getting some play from somewhere. Mm-hmm. Obviously. So my question is, do you think it's the women? Because, and let me just say this lastly. If women wouldn't give brothers no play that sold dope or wore they pants sagging, I know it's a tall order, but is it their responsibility to want more?
So and here again is where the point I'm making.
And that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So there's a pattern of things that shape what happens with who you ultimately become. There's who you're born as. There's what access you had to good education. Sure. And what we know is that we continue to produce more than 90% of the black population in most major cities has less than a high school diploma level of education, even if they have a high school diploma. So what we are doing is manufacturing people who work in retail, people who work in factories, and I can just guarantee you that my colleagues at the bank are not going to post a twerking video of themselves, but the chick who works at the warehouse will post a twerking video of herself. And that's what I'm saying is that the expectations that these people have about what they will and won't do, bonnets, sagging, is a lot relationship to their income. And the same way I said, you see people who I'm a hood dude. Back when in my hood days, I may have committed some crimes. The reason Richard Montgomery today doesn't do it, because Dr. Montgomery has kind of economic mobility that doesn't require him to. So your standards for what you will and won't do, I think, are a lot based on that.
Is it all tied to economics, or is it just the lack of, how can I say it? The lack of
How about teaching?
environmental training in regards to that, because and I understand that you said that the middle class,
Environmental
kids
morals.
are sneaking doing it and stuff like that, but it has been such sewn into our culture, our fabric, from rappers and ball players, football players, basketball players, all that kind of stuff. I see them dudes doing the same thing. I see them walking around and look, half them, it drives me nuts in regards to them getting a haircut or doing something with their hair. It drives me nuts. Beards ain't trimmed, nothing. That's just me. That's a personal pet peeve of mine. And it goes the same thing for the women. Like, they're walking out with bonnets on their head. They in stores with pajama pants on and just looking absolutely house shoes and ridiculousness. And so, is it more just the deterioration in our culture, in our network, our neighborhood?
Where's that disconnect? Where's the disconnect start at?
Where because that's not, in my opinion, like you said, that's not economic, because you spending your money. I'm seeing guys roll around and everybody got freaking sports cars driving around or foreigns driving around, but you walking around the store or the mall or shopping plaza in freaking pajama pants, house shoes, and a bonnet.
So it's a moral disconnect,
So it's like
more so
celebrities.
than a monetary disconnect.
Well, so it's economics has a way to mature you, but it also can also infantile. It can turn you into an infant, because when you're talking about these celebrities and these athletes, they ain't got no reason to grow up, and they can go against conventional standards because they got the money to.
Well, I don't think it's a fair assessment, because I'm a numbers guy.
Just because you have the, go ahead.
I'm a numbers guy, so I don't think it's fair to I don't think it's fair to put these young people in this particular category, because that Jerry curl looked as stupid.
Well,
Man,
not for the time though.
For my grandfather and for my father, yeah, it did. So we're gonna always have that. But back to, I just want to get on subject one last time, and what I want to know is, what do you guys think the disconnect? Why didn't Grandma have a chance to pour that into her granddaughter? Not her daughter, but her granddaughter.
That's a whole nother topic.
But I'm saying though, we're asking, why is the girl wearing the bonnet?
I think,
And if Grandma didn't wear the bonnet, Mama didn't wear the
Grandma
bonnet.
wore the bonnet. She took it off before she left the house.
Okay,
Right.
So I'm saying, where is the disconnect, and who do we charge if we're going to charge someone?
that disconnect to me is the deterioration of the black family, and that's a
Starting
whole.
with who?
I can't even touch that with this conversation, because we'll be here all day.
How did we get to the disconnect?
Exactly.
Well, how did we get to the bonnets still and not looking
Inflation.
beautiful?
I'll say it in one word: inflation. The moment stuff costed more,
I don't think so. I don't think it's never. I don't think
Well,
it's
it's about
never.
to really get rough. It's
But
about to really get rough.
like
Yeah.
you said, we can blame stuff. I think we start blaming stuff on economics, when to me it's just laziness.
Yeah.
So that's a black dysfunction point of view. You can't say black folks are just inherently lazy. After we've worked ourselves as fucking slaves, the entire goddamn.
Hey, so
time
now
of
they
this
saying
country.
I need a break and I need a timeout. So
that's bullshit.
So now they throwing on
Bonnets and pajamas.
bonnets
now
on.
I don't care, because now.
But they gotta say Gucci.
right. They gotta say, have juicy across their butt. Something like that.
Oh,
Those
don't get us in
bonnets are
trouble,
a
man.
representation of alienation from economic institutions. If you don't give me a reason to think that I should act like a six-figure fucking person, I'm gonna act like a minimum wage person, and I ain't got shit to lose.
But that's the
on a regular
reverse.
basis.
That's the reverse mentality. It's something to say to fake it till you make it. Put on the suit until you're required to wear the suit.
Let's go out here to Legacy Village and see how many white women got on bonnets.
None.
Let's go over to Legacy Village and see how
Alright,
many black women got on bonnets.
Let me tell you this, but check this out. I can go right now to freaking
Anywhere on 55th and
Tremont.
Woodland.
I go to Tremont. I can go in the same area where there's an influx or a mixture of black and white, and in the same economic position, and you won't see them walking around the same way that you see some of our young ladies walking around.
So
you won't.
So
you won't see them walking around with bonnets.
The reason
you
I
won't
use-
see them walking around with 12-inch eyelashes on. you won't see that kind of stuff.
Well, let's also differentiate between things that you
just
don't
saying.
find attractive and things
Beep,
that are part of African culture.
Who finds that attractive? 12-inch eyelashes?
I hate the Bambi eyebrows, but if you look back
Bambi
at African culture,
eyebrows.
They
that's
looking like
something new.
Snuffleupagus walking around the neighborhood and working in stores. It's like
We know a few of them.
But the reason why I use Legacy Village as an example is whether you're black or white, I think it comes to the point where economics does matter. You can go over on 55th and Woodland and find 22 bonnets. You're going to find maybe one, if any, at Legacy Village. Because the material cost of things in that area attracts a certain level of person. And that level of person don't leave a house with
No,
bonnets
it's just
on.
socially accepted because of their demographics. It's just accepted. Girl, listen, I want to look good for the club tonight. I'm going to put this bonnet on for a reason because I'm trying to protect this. And once I see that girl with a bonnet on, her dude's still coming around. And we all live down here, or we live up here. But shit, because of your demographics, it's socially accepted. Them same women,
Easy
them
access.
same women in Beverly Hills. Hold on, and you've seen this. Let's talk about the stars that we seen growing up. They had the little line around their eyes. They had the makeup. The stars that we seen, they had the bonnets on because they were trying to beautify themselves. You're not gonna get beauty 24/7. We all got some ugly days. We all gonna be ugly, man.
And I'm not even and bringing this to the table. It's not even about like the 24/7 or 24/6 presentation of the beauty queen. That's not what it's about. But I think there's something to be said about it, putting forth an effort to just present a better picture. Sometimes
The representative?
No, well, the representative. You said you want the
Never got
representative.
it like the representative.
Right. And Colin said you want the representative all the time.
All the time.
So, and you've been lucky enough, which I've never heard of. This is a one. You need to go play the lottery today. 'Cause
I did. I
every
took my
time
numbers
you
in a
got
minute.
with a woman, you've never seen the bonnets and the curlers and all that other kind of stuff.
I didn't say that. What
You
I
said it was like you said. I don't have. You said
No.
that's what you said.
You'll
Okay.
never find.
No, I didn't say they never had a bonnet on their head. I said I was blessed enough to wake up, back to one of your points, that they were still beautiful to me. They were beautiful at night. They were beautiful in the morning.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the way that you see them
Hold on, but
is a
that's the way-
completely different topic.
No.
That's a completely different thing because my wife is beautiful.
Hey, hold on, let me
And whether
finish.
she got on a bonnet or got hair rollers or whatever, that's not going to change the beauty of what she is to me.
What I'm saying
The
is,
image, the package in regards to how you present yourself walking around in a bonnet sometimes, or walking around in lumberjack pajamas or whatever the case may be. One of the sexiest things to me, and I don't, for the life of me, I don't know why women don't understand that, is you could put on my wife beater and you ain't got to never go to Victoria's Secrets. That's and women don't understand that. But they waste hundreds of dollars going to Victoria's Secrets getting stuff that, okay.
That's the
cute.
wife beater,
Them hands,
not the
boy
t-shirt.
shorts.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if they can fit my
Exactly.
drawers.
but again, back to my point is that, and my initial point, and I stand true to it, is that they all had an expectation. They had expectation. They thought I had expectation of it, and they adhere to it. And I'm saying that no, I've never had a woman that wore a bonnet all day, half a day, any day.
I kept the
No, I
satin
haven't.
pillowcases for the
No,
girls.
I've never.
I thought about your head type, baby. Satin pillowcases.
Satin pillowcases ahead of time. He's like, okay, So, well, I think that we, as you can see, we got varying points of view on this topic. I still stand on my point that effort can be put on both sides, both men and women, in regards to presentation. Because when you go out, I'm just being honest, when you go out into corporate, if you work in corporate America, for instance, like we were saying, you start at different demographics, different economic position. If I work in an office and I leave my home and I love my wife, and your wife beautiful, your wife beautiful, we all got beautiful people in our lives, the case would be. But then you go into the office and you remember leaving home, and it's like, she got the cream on her face, curlers in her hair, and the lumberjack PJs on and all that kind of stuff. And then you walk into the office and here's Susan in her, the pumps and everything going on.
It's not
the
fair.
Bump, whatever.
It's not fair.
It is fair. fair.
It's not fair at
I'm
all.
white.
Because, you
It's
know why it's not fair?
absolutely
You know why
fair.
it's not fair? Because Susan doing the same damn thing at home.
You just don't know,
You
right?
just don't know.
But that's what I'm saying.
Ladies, I like your freckles. I like your lines. I don't give a damn about none of that stuff.
But that's what I'm saying though. At the same time,
You got Mo?
I think there's something to be said about the presentation when you leave home. You know, it just like it's a presentation for the men, for the women.
It works both ways.
It works both ways. There's something to be said about both ends. But we can end up, tabling this because we got different varying views. You know, he don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. You know.
Like, so,
Me and
just before we
T-Show.
end, like, I'm always guilty of being a dude who looked like I just wanted to get, be intimate with you. Cause I'm gonna go for the chick at the gas station, her hair all over the place, but that face is pretty. That body matches.
Okay.
And no matter how she's presenting herself at one time, I see the pretty girl.
Okay, but she ain't got the bonnet and the curlers in her hair though, and she ain't got on pajamas.
See, the bonnet is a turn off for me unless you just left the shop.
It's a turn off even if you just left the shop. You can leave the shop with your hair popped. You ain't gotta leave the shop with your
What happened to the
hair
little
and
clear ones?
curlers.
What happened to the little clear ones
You
that
can
are
do something.
Oh, no,
moms
the
and
rain
everything,
hats.
the little rain hats they had back then? What happened to
To me,
those?
that's just like, it's totally unacceptable. But like I said, we all got varying points of views. I think me and T. Jones lean a little bit to the left, y'all leaning to the extreme right, and it's cool. I mean, that's what the table is about. We got different views. But we're gonna table this. We thank you guys for tuning in. We want you to like and subscribe to this video if you like it, so we can bring you more content all the time. At least put 2 videos out a week so you can take a look. Thanks and peace.